welcome to Liberty and Gun Rights Podcast, episode 23. Today is Friday, March 29th, 2024, and my name is James Moffitt, and I'll be your host. I apologize for the lateness of this announcement. By now, most of you know that South Carolina is the 29th state in the nation to have some form of constitutional carry, which means that if you're a legal gun owner in South Carolina, you can open carry a handgun. You can open carry or you can conceal carry, and you are not required to have any training. You're not required to have a concealed weapon permit like we had to have in the past. In 2021, there was a law that was signed that basically said if you have a CWP that's valid and you're a legal gun owner, then you can open carry a firearm. This new constitutional carry law takes us to one step further towards gaining our gun rights back. It's not a pure constitutional carry bill because there's still a lot of restrictions of places where you cannot carry, which includes private business owners if they post the legal sled signs. So, you'll notice that I am playing around with backdrops, and it's not perfect, but I think it gets the job done and hides all the office equipment and gun safes and everything like that behind me. I know that this being a Second Amendment, liberty, and gun rights podcast, that people that are listening to this podcast probably could care less whether there's a gun safe behind me or not. They may even like that. I don't know. But I have other podcasts that I do that the gun safes and the stickers that are on them might be a little offsetting for some of my listening audience. So I decided I needed to go ahead and do this. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read to you the story that is on the Post and Courier about it. It's a very basic summary or synopsis of the new bill. Nick Reynolds is the reporter or the author of the article that I'm reading to you. You can go to postandcourier.com and read it for yourself too. So I'm just going to read through it real quick. Kind of give you for those of you that subscribe to this podcast, I want to give you a quick and dirty summary of what happened. So, South Carolinians can now carry handguns without permits. The new law explained by Nick Reynolds of the Post and Courier. Thank you, Nick. Governor Henry McMaster signed legislation on March 7th making South Carolina the 29th state in the nation to allow residents to carry handguns without a permit. The bill, fought over for weeks in the State House, represents the largest expansion of gun rights in South Carolina since the state allowed the open carry of handguns for permitted gun owners 3 years ago. It gives Palmetto State residents the right to carry firearms in most public places, creating what some advocates call a form of constitutional carry. Here's what to know. How soon can residents begin carrying guns without a permit? Once McMaster signed the bill March 7th, the measure is in effect. While it has been legal to openly carry a handgun in South Carolina since 2021, the right was limited only to residents with a concealed weapons permit. To get one of those under the old law, residents must have been at least 21 years old, undergone 8 hours of training, and passed a background check. Now none of that is required. Does new permitless carry law apply to rifles or just handguns? Just handguns. While there is currently no state requirement for a permit to possess a rifle, shotgun, or handgun, the 2021 law on which the permitless carry bill was based only applied to firearms with a length of less than 12 inches, according to the bill McMaster signed at the time. While the change to state law inside of the permitless carry bill interchangeably use the term firearm and handgun, the bill is very clear the statute only applies to handguns. That said, South Carolina has had permitless open carry for long guns for years. Can handguns be carried anywhere now? Can private businesses exclude them, or government buildings like a courthouse, city hall, or library? No. The bill McMaster signed includes numerous specific places where guns cannot be carried. Those include sensitive places such as police stations, jails, and prisons, an active courtroom, polling places on election days, the office or meeting place of the governing body of a county, public school district, municipality, or special purpose district, daycare or preschool facilities, hospitals, medical clinics, doctors' offices, or any other facility where medical services or procedures are performed. Federal facilities where the open carry of firearms is prohibited. Like under the 2021 concealed carry bill, guns are not allowed to be carried into any privately owned facility displaying a placard barring gun owners from entering the building. I would say that needs to say barring gun owners who are carrying a firearm from entering the building. However, gun owners are allowed to carry their weapons into private residences or even churches with the permission of the building owner or the pastor in charge. What about theaters or concert venues or collegiate football and basketball stadiums? Legally, you could carry a firearm into a theater or concert venue on two conditions: as long as they don't specifically bar you from carrying one, and as long as they don't serve alcohol. According to the bill, anyone who is convicted of knowingly carrying a firearm into a business that sells alcohol, liquor, beer, or wine for consumption on the premises is guilty of a misdemeanor, with a maximum penalty of $2,000 in fines or a maximum 2-year prison sentence. The bill specifies gun owners are exempt from those penalties if they don't consume alcohol at the facility. So what does that mean? That means you can carry your firearm into a restaurant or a bar that serves alcohol as long as you do not drink. You and your family can go sit down and have a meal, drink water, sweet tea, Kool-Aid, anything that does not contain alcohol. So that bill was passed, I don't know how many years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. As for collegiate sporting events, absolutely not. The bill has a specific ban on carrying weapons to any school or college athletic event that is not related to firearms. What about in a car? Do drivers still have to keep their guns locked in a glove box? They do not. Under the old state law, it was a misdemeanor to have a handgun in the car with you unless it was secured in a closed glove compartment, center console, in the trunk, or inside of a secure container. Concealed carry permit holders could secure their weapons under their seat in a vehicle, in an open or closed container in the vehicle cab, or even on their person. I don't think that's correct, actually. Under the new law, that provision now applies to everyone, though it is still advisable to inform a police officer you are carrying a weapon during a traffic stop. That said, you're still required to secure your weapon while on any property owned by a school or face a felony charge with a maximum fine of $5,000, 5 years in prison, or both. What can cause someone to lose their carry privileges? If you break any of the above laws, you can be charged with a misdemeanor with a maximum fine of $1,000 or 1 year in prison. A second offense is punishable by a maximum prison sentence of 3 years, while a third offense is punishable by a maximum sentence of 5 years. That second strike is also the red line for losing your gun rights, at least temporarily. According to the bill, it is illegal for anyone who has been sentenced to a maximum term of imprisonment of more than 1 year to possess a firearm or ammunition in South Carolina, with a first offense amounting to a felony charge worth up to 5 years in prison, as much as 30 years in prison for a third offense. There are some exceptions for some white-collar crimes, however. That might not hold forever. Senate lawmakers have already expressed openness to running another bill to allow violations of the permitless carry law to be expunged after a certain period of time, the same way the state currently treats drug or traffic offenses. What if I've been convicted of illegally carrying a gun before? It doesn't matter. If you were convicted prior to the enactment of this bill or of the unauthorized carry and possession of a firearm, commonly known as UCAP, you can apply for that charge to be expunged under the new law. Can police stop you if they see a gun holstered on your hip? According to the new law, simply carrying a weapon does not give a law enforcement officer reasonable suspicion or probable cause to search, detain, or arrest the person. But there is nothing in the law preventing an officer from searching, detaining, or arresting a person when the officer has an objective and specific suspicion a person carrying a gun is engaged in criminal activity. That includes if a person is carrying a firearm where they're not allowed. What has happened in other states that have passed laws like this? Studies have shown mixed impacts on overall gun mortality rates in states that have passed permitless carry legislation. On a side note, the opponents to this constitutional carry law in South Carolina have basically said that, it's going to be the wild, wild west. There's going to be blood running in the streets, blah, 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 which is horseshit. That has not happened in any other state. As a matter of fact, if you do the research on the statistics, violent crimes against people have been reduced. All the states that have constitutional carry or open carry, citizens are arming themselves and training how to use their defensive firearms, has put criminals on alert to know that not everybody's going to be a sheep, and a lot of people are going to be a lot harder target to go after, which is what's good. Several decades of research analyzed by the Rand Institute found differing results on whether shall-issue states saw substantial increases in violent crime, while a study commissioned by Ohio Attorney General David Yost after the 2022 passage of their permitless carry bill found gun crime had actually fallen in 6 of the 8 cities surveyed. So there you go. Others have shown marked increases in gun violence in states that have passed permitless carry. 2022 study by researchers at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health charted a 9.5% increase in gun violence rates relative to forecasted trends after 34 states relaxed concealed carry restrictions. Another study in West Virginia found firearm mortality increased by 29% in the years after the 2016 passage of its own permitless carry bill, while handgun mortality increased 48%. Is there any benefit in getting a permit? In South Carolina specifically, yes. Lawmakers imposed less harsh penalties for permit holders who violated the law as an incentive for training, though some were concerned that language would be unconstitutional. If you want to carry your gun in another state, it is advisable you still get your permit. While 29 states now have permitless carry, the rules vary by state, including some that limit carry only to residents. So, I'll reiterate one of the reasons why it is advisable or advantageous for South Carolina citizens to get a concealed weapon permit is there are other states that you want to travel to. If you want to carry your firearm, they have to have reciprocal agreements with South Carolina, and South Carolina has to have a reciprocal or reciprocity with that state to allow their citizens to carry firearms concealed in our state when they're traveling here. Same thing applies to us when we're traveling in that other state. You can go to USCCA. They have a map, concealed carry map, that shows you what states authorize other states' citizens to carry weapons in their state. That sounded confusing. I think you know what I'm talking about. All right, let's see. What else does this say? With a concealed carry permit, your right to carry a handgun concealed will be guaranteed in 35 other states around the U.S. The other upside, you'll learn how to handle your weapons safely. And there is nothing wrong with training. And I'll go as far as to say that while the concealed weapon permit class does afford you the ability to prove to a trainer that you could hit a stationary target, I don't know, 15 or 20 feet away from you. I think you get to shoot, I don't know, so many rounds, whatever. But there's nothing wrong with training. And I would dare say that the CWP class, which is 8 hours, is just the beginning of that training. You need to get more training with that firearm than just your CWP. Are the classes free? How are they paid for? They are free. To cover the cost of the program, the state will appropriate approximately $4.135 million to the State Law Enforcement Division to cover the $100 cost of a concealed carry class across an average of 41,356 participants per year. The agency will hire 4 new employees at a cost of nearly $400,000 per year and spend approximately $152,000 for vehicles and equipment. To inform the public of the new law, SLED will also be funding a $1 million ad campaign to advertise the new courses. Are gun rights groups happy? Are we happy? Most are. State House conservatives have been pushing permitless carry legislation in South Carolina for more than a decade. And while hardline gun groups were some of lawmakers' harshest critics during the process of passing the bill, they were all complimentary ahead of McMaster's bill signing. It's been a long, hard road to get this passed in South Carolina, and with supermajorities of Republicans in both chambers, that shouldn't have been the case, said Tommy Timsdale, Executive Director of Palmetto Gun Rights, a state affiliate of the National Association for Gun Rights, in a statement. Is this the last gun bill we'll see for a while? Maybe. While he couldn't name any specific policies, he'd still like to see Senator Shane Martin, Republican Pauline, suggested there's always room to expand gun rights in South Carolina even further. I believe that our Constitution grants us those rights, Martin told reporters March 7th. I think anything that government has done has infringed on those rights over the years. I believe that there's more to be done to basically not have our own rights taken from us. I don't look at it as we're giving rights. I see this as we're getting our constituents' rights back, he added. Well, he couldn't have said that better. All right, so that's the end of the article. This is from the Post and Courier, excuse me. This is a well-known liberal rag. They are extremely liberal, and so anything that you read from the Post and Courier, take everything you read with a grain of salt. And while there were some possible errors in some of the statements that were made in this article, for the most part, I think it was a good summary. And I will add to this that now that we have a form of constitutional carry in South Carolina, I would like to say that we should all carry responsibly. What does that mean? That means we should have the right equipment. We should have a holster that is helps you to retain control over that weapon, a level 1, level 2, or level 3 holster. Law enforcement is typically the only ones that have level 3 retention, but you can get out of waistband holsters to carry your weapon, and some of those are level 1 and level 2. I have one that's a level 2. But just practice situational awareness when you're out and about carrying your handgun, whether it's open or concealed. I personally am probably going to continue, for the most part, carrying concealed. The nice part of having a constitutional carry bill that has been signed into law is if you're in Walmart or Target or some store and you're reaching up high to grab something off the shelf for yourself, loved ones, or somebody next to you in the store that says, hey, can you reach that for me? If you raise your arms, forgive me for that, have an application that's binging me while I'm right in the middle of this podcast. So, what I was saying is if you're reaching up high and your firearm is accidentally exposed, like if you're concealed carrying and your firearm is exposed accidentally, you can't get in trouble. If a snowflake happens to see it and freaks out and tells the store management and they call 911, the first thing they're going to ask is, what was he doing with the firearm? Was it in his holster? Yes, it was in his holster, but it's a firearm. It's a gun. He can't have it. I'm afraid. And hopefully the 911 operator will advise him that there's new law in place and people can carry a firearm concealed or openly, and there's nothing they can do about it. And they're not going to send a unit over to investigate. But anyway, carry responsibly, and hey, enjoy the new law. Enjoy the newfound freedoms that have been given back to us that shouldn't have never been taken from us to begin with, right? All right, I appreciate the privilege of your time. Our podcast is hosted on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Be sure to share our podcast with your Second Amendment friends, family, and coworkers. You can contact us at Liberty Gun Rights Podcast at proton.me. That's Liberty Gun Rights Podcast at proton.me. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Goodbye for now.